Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I did a reading vlog of a whole week of just kind of realistically what I was reading. Nothing too crazy. I finished 2 books in this video, 1 audiobook and 1 physical book. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado, I'll see you on last Sunday. Hello everybody. It is Sunday and it's the first day that I am filming for this video. So I am in the midst of 2 books right now. So let me tell you where I'm at, where I'm starting. February has been an incredibly slow reading month for me. I started The Will of the Many by James Islington at the end of January. I think around January 27th is when I officially started it. And I finished it officially on I think the 7th, but it took me a little while. But I so thoroughly loved that book. It was such an insane ride. Everything about it, it did take me a little bit to get into because you are setting up for this very big, very complex fantasy world. But once you're in the story, I had so many predictions. I wanted to know everything that was going to happen. And the ending, while I was expecting a bigger ending, I was still so shocked. I was so overwhelmed when I was reading it that I started crying, and I don't even know why I was crying because I wasn't overly sad, but I was just so shocked. All I wanted to do for the couple days after, thankfully my library had The Strength of the Few. It was just like a 5-day wait, I think. I finally got The Strength of the Few, which is the second book in, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday that I got it in. So I started reading it on my iPad because it's an ebook. The ebook is a little bit different. I'm on page 289 of 761. Let's see. I'm 38% of the way through. I really cannot say too much about what this book is about because that would be spoilers to the first book. But let me tell you what the first book is about. Within this world, within this fantasy world, think of it almost like a pyramid scheme, like a multi-level marketing scheme, where everybody has their will, which is their strength, their drive, their focus. And the hierarchy has overtaken pretty much every country that is on this continent. So everybody basically has to give their will. And if you are on the very lowest level, you're called an octavi. You're ceding, I think, half your will to the person above you, but you're not receiving any will. And then the person above them is a septimi, I'm pretty sure. And each septimi receives will from 8 people. And then above them is a sextus. They're, I think, receiving will from around 50 people. Just keeps up and going until the very highest person receives will from, I think, around 46,000 people. So even when you're a sextus to, I think, a quintus is the one above it, they're still incredibly powerful. Within this hierarchy, within this world, you're following Viz, who is a long-lost prince. His family was killed in this overtaking of them colonizing everything. And he is under a different identity. He's working at a prison and also working as a fighter, like a street fighter kind of. And one day he gets approached by someone and basically they task him with, I will adopt you, and because he's an orphan, and I will send you to this academy. Children of senators, people in the military, for them to send their kids. They basically learn all about using will. There's different classes that you want to be in at the class rankings that you want to be in at the academy. And so this man says, I'll send you to the academy and you need to investigate the death of someone. And Viz agrees. He's trained, he goes to the academy, and he's also, while yes, investigating a murder, there are many other things that he's slowly uncovering. And it just goes from there. It's such a crazy story. There is a lot of building in the beginning, and even then it's still a lot to get used to because it's a book where you just kind of have to keep reading because they're using made up words, and you just have to eventually, you'll figure out what the words mean, but in the beginning you might be a little confused, but just go along for the ride. So yeah, very, very crazy story. I loved it. It was so good. Once I actually picked it up and started reading, I didn't want to put it down. That whole week or so of me reading, I was staying up so late every single night because I didn't want to put the book down. I just wanted to keep reading. So within this book, you're still following Viz. Things are definitely more complex within this book because of other reasonings. I cannot say why for spoiler reasonings, for spoiler purposes, but you are in different places, way different places, like setting wise, than where you were in the first book. It's a little bit more to get used to. You also have a lot of different like cast of characters at times. So I am enjoying it. Again, still in that kind of like building phase for some of these places. And the other thing, I think with this book, I am having a little bit more trouble with visualizing things in my head. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's just like more complex, but I am having a little bit more trouble visualizing like these people and what things look like, but that's okay. Still enjoying it. Still super high stakes, so crazy. I will say, I did watch a video that was someone talking about how just publishing and editing in books. And I think she had made a video at first. I'll like put a picture of what the video was on the screen if I can find it. And she had made a video prior where she showed passages, didn't say what the book was, asked people if certain things would bother them when they were reading. And then in the video I watched, she went back, re-disclosed what the passages were, and she eventually did disclose in the follow-up video that The Strength of the Few was the book that she was talking about. Like incomplete sentences, I think certain errors. So I did kind of go into this book knowing that. And I will say, because I have that like notion in my head, I have been catching a lot of errors actually. I've caught a lot of capitalization errors. Certain names were not capitalized. A lot of like when he's talking about himself because it's first person, like I did this, the I is not capitalized. That's mostly what I've been catching, just these small errors like that. I think maybe there have been a couple points where I'm like, you probably could have put a comma there because I had to read the sentence a few times to understand what was being like said. Yeah, just very blunt, like you didn't need to put a period there. It could have just, So I'm not gonna say anything on that. Am I noticing it? Yes. I don't know. So I still am enjoying the book, but I do think it probably could have been edited a little bit more. That's what I'm currently physically reading. And then the other book that I actually just started this morning that I'm actually surprised by is Heart the Lover by Lily King. I'm 2 hours into the audiobook. I've had terrible luck with audiobooks this month. I DNF'd The Prisoner's Throne. I really didn't care about it. And when this came off hold, I was really unsure if I was even wanting to pick it up. But I will say, started listening to it this morning and I'm actually enjoying it. So within this book, you're following a girl as she is about to graduate college, and she meets these two boys that are in one of her literature classes and just kind of goes from there. She befriends them. It's kind of like a totally different world from what she's used to in terms of like prestige, but I'm enjoying it. I'm actually really interested in it. So I was surprised by that. And the audiobook is only like 5 hours long, not even 6 hours. So I was like, you know what? Let me give it a try. The writing style is pretty like straightforward. It's not too flowery or anything. I know that this is a prequel to Writers and Lovers, which I've never read, and I did not know that when I put the book on my TBR, but still, I'm enjoying it. Other than that, that's where I'm at right now. I don't want to yak for too long, so let's keep reading. My goal is to get halfway through The Strength of the Few today, so hopefully wish me luck. Hello everybody, and it's Monday, so I have a couple reading updates. So this morning I did finish listening to Heart the Lover by Lily King. Last night I was able to listen to a lot of it as I was cooking and making dinner, and I only had around I think an hour and a half left this morning, and I have some complicated opinions on this book. I don't know if you hear my dog drinking water, but I'll wait until he's done. I have been in a rut with listening to audiobooks. I've tried to listen to I think two or three audiobooks so far in February, and none of them have really sticked for me. I've just struggled to get into them, to get through them. And this was the first one where when I started listening to it, I was like, okay, this seems interesting enough where just enough drama where I'm want to keep listening, but also not overly doing it. So I did enjoy listening to it. I will say, I think because of my experience having struggled with getting into audiobooks recently, that has made me maybe rate this a little bit higher than I would have if I hadn't experienced that or hadn't, like if I had just picked up the book, I think I would give this around a 4 to like a 3.75 to a 4 because I did enjoy the story, but a part of me is reminded of another book that I read in January that I did not like, The Light We Lost by Jill Santopolo. While it had, I think, a lot of like similarities in a way, kind of. Like, I don't know, as I was reading it and like as the plot was unfolding, I was reminded of that book, but I enjoyed the way that Heart the Lover executed it more. And granted, they're very different. There was just some things that happened that reminded me a little bit of that book. Overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't cry at the end. I've seen so many people like cry at the end or say how they thought it was really sad. I personally did not. It was sad, but like not enough to provoke an emotional reaction from me. So I don't know, I did enjoy it. You were able to see a difference in like her storytelling, at least from like when she was a 20-year-old to when she's I think 40 or 50. So I think that that was a great addition and I did enjoy the writing. It wasn't too flowery or overly explanative, but it still effectively told the story in a way that held my attention. And I don't know how far I am. I did read more of The Strength of the Few by James Islington. I got up to last night I got halfway through, which was around page 380. And now I am on page 429, which is 56%. Okay, that's not as far as I was hoping, but I, again, am enjoying it. But there are certain chapters that I find myself more interested in than others. So I'm not sure. I definitely am still really enjoying it, but I don't think I'm enjoying it as much as I enjoyed the first book. And it does feel like this book is a lot slower just because there is a lot of building in this book. And granted, there was a lot of building in the first book, so there's still a lot of building in this book too, for reasons that if you haven't read the first book won't make sense and I won't spoil. So I'm not struggling, but I just want to find more out. I want more things to happen. I'm not struggling by any means because I am wanting to pick it up and find myself often wanting to reading it when I'm not. But I just wish that I want to get to like things happening more, even more, so. What am I on? I'm on 71%. Plot twist, not expecting that. Hello? Out of all the things I was expecting, I was not expecting that one. Oh my gosh. Quite honestly, something happened earlier that like probably could have prepared me for this more, but I kind of just wrote it off as like not feasible. And now I guess it is feasible because it just happened. And now I'm like, oh wow, shock, shock. But okay, reading update, but I can't talk too loud because Timur's asleep. So I am enjoying it. I'm 71% of the way through. I'm on page 540 of 740. So I have 200 more pages left. But the thing is though, okay, a couple things have happened and then something was revealed when that one thing happened. So I'm not sure if that is where the story is going to go. Like what we learned is where the story might end off, if that makes sense. Like that's gonna have a bigger role to play. With this other thing happening, I wouldn't doubt it. But overall, I don't really know where the story will conclude or how the story will conclude because there's still 2 more books. everybody, and happy Saturday. I have an update as to how much I've read. I now have the physical copy of The Strength of the Few by James Islington, and I'm almost done. I'm really, really close to being done. I'm on page 644, and I think there's around 700 pages. I'm trying not to see. 707. So around 707 pages. So I have like 60 to 70 pages left. Let me tell you, when I finished The Will of the Many, also let me preface, I don't really remember where I left off when I updated last, so I'll do the best I can to try to remember where I left off at. But when I finished The Will of the Many, I loved it so much. And I will say, I don't want to say trope, but the thing that happened at the end isn't a favorite of mine, but I was still just so enthralled by the book that I was willing to have hope for this book anyway, because I enjoy the Will of the Many so much. And I do think that I am enjoying this book, but the way in which this is told, I don't want to spoil anything, but there are alternating chapters. So one chapter might be about one thing, another chapter is about a different thing. And I feel like when that happens in books, I'm always going to have one that I prefer over the other. And I think that that did happen in this book. When I was reading about one thing, I was like, I'm either not enjoying it as much as another, or, you know, I'm enjoying one more than the other. So it just kind of makes it not as, like, I'm still enjoying it, but I do prefer one over the other. So that does taint my reading experience a little bit. And I will say, I am having more difficulty visualizing what's going on in this book. I'm not sure if it's just because things are very different or what, but certain things I'm struggling to actually like visualize well, or maybe I'm just getting more things confused because it's more things to keep track of. So I don't know, I'm struggling a little bit, or I was struggling a little bit, and then things started happening. It was losing me a little bit. Like, I almost just was like, you know, like I am enjoying it, and I still am going to rate this probably highly, but if I think if I hadn't enjoyed the first book in the series so much, I wouldn't have rated this book as highly as I'm probably going to. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen at the end, because I really don't know. I am kind of thinking like one thing might happen, like a reveal about who someone actually is, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen in this book. It might not happen in this book. I really have no idea what's going to happen. So I'm hoping, really hoping to finish this tonight. I really haven't read much today, but I'm hoping I only have this much left, this little spot right here. So I'm hoping to finish it tonight and to see how I feel. I'm so nervous for the characters, especially because something happened, someone that I really liked. I really didn't think it was going to happen, but it did happen. So I'm gonna keep reading. But also, this cover was not how I pictured. I like inspected the cover more, and I'm like, wow, like I know who these are. I know what these are supposed to be, but that's not how I pictured them in my head. Not listening to an audiobook. I tried listening to Immortal Dark, DNF. I'm just not in the mood to listen to audiobooks right now. I have Wild Dark Shores as an audio, so I might start that, but I might DNF that if I'm not enjoying the audiobook. I'm just not in the mood to listen to an audiobook right now, which is very upsetting to me because I love audiobooks normally, but bye for now. Hey! Happy Sunday. So I was able to read a little bit last night and then a little bit more when I got into bed, but I noticed I was getting like closer to the end, so I stopped. I am on page 669, which is, I think I have like 4 more chapters left. I believe I have around 30 to 40 pages left. I'm just gonna wait to give my full thoughts at the end until have a more like, I don't know, have the full picture of what is actually going to happen. So let me sit and finish this, and we'll see how I feel. We'll see what I think. Okay, I was not expecting that, okay. Oh my gosh. I'm on like the last page, but I'm still nervous. Wow. Well, I finished it.